Okay, these are the rounds that I've chosen for my preparation and my self-defense, and also hunting as well. Each round has its own little purpose, but I decided to show this battery right here, this AA battery, to give you some type of reference to each round. Right here you have a 45 ACP. I chose 45 ACP simply because I figured that since most conflicts with handguns take place within a short period, within a short range, it didn't really matter if it had the same range as a 9mm or a 40. I thought that it was more important that it had more knockdown power, more stopping power, since most of the situations were going to take place short range anyway. Right here you have rounds for my 12 gauge. I chose 12 gauge because it's the most common. And you want to have calibers that are really common, especially in a emergency situation. You want to have something that other people have, so you're not looking for some really exotic round. You just want something that other people will actually have. This is a bird shot. I need more bird shot actually. This would be useful for looking for small game. This right here is buckshot. It's Federal. I use a lot of Federal. I also use a lot of Winchester. And these rounds right here, this is a slug, as you can tell, also Federal, and it's 2 3/4. I prefer that over the Magnum, the 3-inch ones. I mean, you get more rounds with the smaller ones. So this is, of course, a slug, and this is a buckshot at a range. But this round here is the 30-06. I chose 30-06 simply because it's probably one of the most common rounds for hunting rifles in America, if not the most common round. Okay, and here are some of the tools I thought would be pretty handy in a survival/emergency situation. First and foremost, I played the game Half-Life 2, and you know, I gotta say, the crowbar, it made sense for me. It made a lot of sense for me, actually. So I decided to get that as one of the first things. Looking in here, of course, there's a hammer. Standard hammer. Measurements are going to be not as important, but you know, you never know. I also got a framing hammer as well. Pretty good hatchet. You know, this isn't some cheap old thing. I mean, it's East Wing. This isn't cheap. It wasn't cheap at all. Nice big hatchet. I'm probably going to get a big axe as well. This is something I've actually been using so far. The Annihilator. Yeah, it annihilates just about anything. And this thing's been pretty handy, you know. This is probably one of the few tools I've actually used to actually tear down some drywall and some other things. Okay, I have a staple gun in here, which has already been useful. I've been able to help out a friend for a project. Some of those other things may not be as important. You definitely want to have some type of screwdrivers or whatever. I actually have a kit for that. But anyway, this is what I affectionately call the universal key. I'm kidding. Not really. No, I'm kidding. I also store some batteries in here. AAA. Of course, measurements. Very important. Okay, this is going to be my option for my screwdrivers and Allen wrench and all that stuff, but I kind of want to get a couple of solid Phillips screwdrivers just in case. I don't want to rely on this too much. And of course I have a knife. Some of you guys have seen this before. This is the K-Bar Bowie knife. It's something that I think is going to be pretty reliable. It needs to be sharpened. I need to find a good way of sharpening this pretty well. Take better care of it. It's something it's definitely on the agenda. But it's a fairly decent sized knife right here. You know, it's definitely a lot bigger than my hand, so definitely longer. So, and I have pretty big hands too. Okay, here are the flashlights that I have so far, and you know, this is a light I used to carry, and you know, it works at first, and this one still works. This is sort of like a home light. You have to make sure that the lights you get, if they're going to be lights that you carry with you, they may not be that good if they're something you would use for the home. There's certain lights that you can use for at home. Like all these lights should be LED. I like LED. They last a lot longer. It's cheaper to actually have them. And the problem, this is made out of plastic. So I ran into some reliability issues and it didn't stand up. This is also made out of plastic, but this pretty much stays in my bag. So I'm not too worried about that, but I may have to upgrade to something that's made with some more metal. This is also made out of plastic as well, but they're decent quality. They've been lasting pretty well. This is something I put in my bag, actually. This is something I keep in my room a lot. This is something I also put in my bag. It's sort of like a wind-up radio slash flashlight. Very useful. And this is what I carry on me. This is super light. This is aluminum. And again, LED. They're really light. Lasts forever. You know, I'll say the lights, the actual batteries last for a pretty long time. So, pretty satisfied with that. So when you're choosing these things, you really need to think about your environment. A lot of people sort of ignore their environment when they're choosing calibers or they're choosing the type of weapons. You don't want to be the only guy in a neighborhood or within 20 square blocks shooting at a really exotic round. For example, the FN 5.7 is a really awesome gun. I really want to shoot it, but how many people are actually going to have that round? You want to have a gun in which the caliber is pretty common. You have to decide what are your preferences, what do you feel comfortable with, what's your price range. You know, 45s are really expensive. You know, it may be more cost effective to go with a 40. You still have a lot of stopping power, and you still have probably a much better range than you would get with a 45. Maybe it's a good compromise, you know, if you're sort of on a budget. I decided to just go ahead and go with something I was really comfortable with, which was a 45. I was willing to make that sacrifice. So there's a lot of things you have to think about when you're choosing which caliber and which type of flashlights are working for you. I'm trying to move towards more metal lights, you know. All right, so tell me what are some of the rounds you use and why do you use them? And what type of flashlights are you gravitating towards? Alright, thanks for watching, and don't forget the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Bye.